Hi, I'm Deborah Sadler, and I'm the author of the trilogy Words of the Temple, A New Humanity, and this is for entertainment purposes only. I've been talking about Pluto going into Aquarius, which happened on November 20th, and how we are moving into a time of freedom. We're moving into a time that is humanity's time. And in the trilogy, I write about the shift in consciousness that is taking place on this planet. And it is the biggest shift in consciousness that has taken place on this planet ever. When President Joe Biden says we're at an inflection point, he is absolutely correct. This is the biggest shift in humanity's story. And on 12/21/2012, I like to remind everybody, we passed the marker. It was the end of the Mayan calendar, because that was a calendar of consciousness. And the old consciousness, which was the consciousness of the shadow, ended its dominance. And we shifted on 12/21/2012 to a new dynamic where the light became a greater percentage or quotient over the dark. And that's a huge shift. And what we are seeing right now is part of the precession of the equinoxes, which I write about throughout my trilogy, which is the 36-year period where we shift from the shadow to the light. And it began in 1994, and it ends in 2030. It's an astronomical event where we move through the width of the Milky Way galaxy. And the midpoint of that is 12/21/2012. And that is the point where, from the perspective of the Earth, the sun is lined up with the center of the galaxy, the center of the plane of the galaxy. It occurs every 26,000 years. But this time, we passed the marker. And I use the work of Cryon, who is channeled by Lee Carroll. And he talks about how passing this marker means that we are not going to blow ourselves up, because we moved into the light and we moved into unity consciousness. We are not going to destroy ourselves. And actually, we are a planet that is now in ascension. And I hear readers say, oh, this is a lesson we have to go through. It is not a lesson we have to go through. This is what a planet goes through when they become a planet in ascension. And as Cryon likes to remind us, that when the light starts winning, the dark, creepy, crawly things will come out. And that's what's happening, is the dark is not willing to give up its dominance or its power or all of its wealth. And so we have what Cryon describes as a dark-light battle taking place on the planet. But he says the dark has no chance and the light is winning. And so what we're seeing is the old energy fighting for its life. And it has to do whatever it can. And it's doing it right out in the open. And it's not even trying to hide its agenda or its methodology or anything, because it is desperate to stay in charge and to stay in power. But when Pluto went into Aquarius for its final time on November 20th, that really created another shift for us. Because Pluto had been in Capricorn, as I've explained earlier, which is where the dominance of the billionaires and the autocrats and the dictators and the rich white guys really amassed a huge amount of wealth. And I want to point out that one of the great things about Pluto having been in Capricorn is, up till that period of time of 16 years, the collective consciousness had an agreement that we lived in lack and limitation. But those 16 years proved that there is more than enough to go around, which is a spiritual principle. There is more than enough money to go around. And so here we are, everything shifted away from the billionaires, away from the oligarchs, away from the corporate media, away from the corporate structures and the corporate power, and it shifted to the people. And we're not even 30 days into this, but power is to the people. and it will be with the people for the next 20 years. And the focus and the agenda of our governments is going to be on humanity and how can we lift humanity. And so everything that you see taking place right now is the old energy spiraling into a death that it is created for itself, because its time is up. And the methodology that they're having to use to stay in power is not sustainable because there's no integrity in it. But there's integrity in the people. The feminine principle is rising despite all of their efforts to smash it back down. Not going to happen. The planets are moving forward. They are not going to reverse because some people have a whole bunch of money. So we're moving into the Aquarian age. Power to the people. So stay tuned for sudden and unexpected changes, which is Uranus, which rules Aquarius. And so that's going to be happening throughout the next 20 years. Suddenly things are going to just shift and change radically and unexpectedly. And Pluto, as I've mentioned before, is blowing things up. It's death and rebirth. So every once in a while, there'll be a little explosive energy release that just shifts and changes everything. So we are moving toward peace on Earth. That's what a planet in ascension is. And there's only one planet that can be in ascension in the galaxy at a time. And potentially the universe, I'm not real clear about that. We are really, really special. We are not just random pieces of DNA. We are not just a fluke of evolution. We are here purposefully. This planet is here purposefully. The universe has a plan, and the plan is power to the people. And so the universe always prevails because it is about love and joy and peace and harmony. And that is our birthright, and we're moving in that direction. And so I just want you to know that all is well, and you can watch the activity taking place of those who assume they're taking power, and you will see everything they do not work for them because the universe does not support their activities. It supports humanity and the rising in each and every one of us. So keep the faith, know that all is well. Have a great day.